Peace to the kings and queens. It's your brother Tim Gray for the Melanated Medicine Podcast. I want to welcome you back once again, and I have a really good friend of mine into this pod today. This is, I call her darling Nikki, Miss Nikki Valentine.
Hello, hello.
Let's have Nick. Hold on, let's make sure we give you some. Come on, studio audience, give me some round of applause. All right. Yes. So, Miss Nikki, we have a really good friendship, but I need you to look directly into that camera and tell our studio audience exactly what you do.
Because you don't know, and that's
No. When I say I did my research,
you were Googling?
I did more than my Googles.
Oh, okay. What you did?
Listen, I got friends who were clients of yours.
Curveball. Okay. Didn't see that coming. Uno, reverse.
Listen, I have a drawer full in the back pocket at all times.
You do. Well, to answer your question, my name is Nikki Valentine. I am a leadership and confidence coach, speaker, and author. How's that?
I want you to tell them what you've written. Your book. Your book.
I wrote a manifesting workbook that is also a planner and a wellness journal so that you can get yourself on a high vibration, because that's the key to attracting the abundance and the lifestyle that you actually want.
Okay, now I'm going to show you something that before you can sit on the table here, you can sit on the floor over there. Before you got here, I handed out a wellness journal.
Did you now?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Studio audience, am I correct? Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
You can hear the papers waggling. I gave out a wellness journal.
Okay.
Knowing that you did that, I wanted to put people into a perspective of conversation. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that's really dope. Now, the better part is, since you've been in business doing this type of thing, what was your why as to why do that type of work? Because you could have gone in a myriad of different directions. What was the thing that you're like, I'm going to go in this lane specifically?
I wanted to be what I needed when I was younger.
Say it again.
I really wanted to provide the thing that I needed, which was mentorship. I think a lot of young Black women are taught, get your education, get the bag, do the things.
Sure.
No one talks about burnout. No one talks about imposter syndrome. No one talks about your mental health and that. No one talks about how your health will fail. No one talks about your relationships will, you know what I mean? No one really guides you on how to. And also, everyone tells you to hustle when there's actually a better way, which is getting in alignment with what we actually want. No one talks about that. No one says you can be smart and sexy and still travel and go to the gym and do yoga and like be a high performer and do all the things. No one tells you that.
Yeah.
So you just burn yourself out and burn the rubber to the end. So to me, I had to go that way and break down and learn it myself. I would love to spare people of that. Skip the breakdown part.
So the part that I want you to say, I have a term for that.
Okay.
It's parenting. It's parenting.
Low key.
It's parenting.
They do call me auntie.
They definitely call you that. If you look at her Instagram page and see the things that she will share, it's your rich aunt who has circumvented the world and had a perspective at the end of it and taught you how not to do.
Trying to.
Keyword. Taught you how not to do.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of one of the things that I like to make sure that we highlight our guests is that you're speaking from a space of experience. And experience only can come from a life well lived.
Amen.
You know what I mean? When so you can tell someone something, but when you're trying to teach someone something, you had to go through it.
Absolutely.
So when you've gotten to a point, because I find myself into that space now, because like we have the Wellness Social Club that is starting, we have the Gray Wellness Continuing Education School that is starting,
Amazing.
And just within those things to be able to do, it's more about my words will last longer than my hands will.
Absolutely.
And I've now reached that status of, I'm an OG now.
Crazy,
and it
right?
was weird to discover that I was that.
It is. But it's a blessing.
No, and it's all about the perception of something, right? So
exactly.
My knowledge of how I got here came a little bit different, because I say this because women become aunties immediately when one of their friends become mothers.
Right.
Brothers don't go through that. It's not the same.
Oh, that's just your friend that has a child.
Yeah, it's like, what's up, little man?
My homie has a kid.
Yeah, it's like that. Hey, sweetheart, how's your little one?
Yeah.
But we don't take the sense of companionship, confidant,
right.
Manager. You know what I mean? Support system So I always think that was one of the most beautiful things, specifically watching that happening in the Black community so often, is how our women immediately galvanize behind the person that they love. You know what I mean? So so knowing that you're in this particular realm, what is something that you found surprising in oh, that's amazing, and surprising in, oh, I wish it wasn't that way in your field of work?
That is a really good question.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll start backwards. So the thing that I find that's surprising that makes me really sad is that a lot of high performers doubt themselves. My clients are some of the most successful people. And when I hear the things that go on in their head, the narrative, the self-doubt, and the things from the outside, you would be like, how?
Sure.
But I understand it. And I think it surprises me, but it makes me sad because it's a theme among a lot of people who are very successful.
For sure.
Right? The thing that I find that makes me smile, this is going to sound weird, every time I have a session, someone cries.
Really?
Every single time. No one is safe. Here's why I love that. One, it means they're comfortable enough to let that out. And two, it shows me that human beings really need someone to hold space. Just the simple act of someone being there and going, okay, let me hear it. Big game changer.
I can empathize with that. I'm
sure people have cried on the table.
It happens a lot.
I have.
It happens.
I have for sure.
And it's such a honorable space to be in as a therapist. So I can say from firsthand account why I like knowing that people have gotten to a point where they're like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
I'll let you into that.
Yeah. I'm going to give you that space so you can be like, you know what? I don't care how this goes. I'm going to write how it comes out. I'm going to be sniffly. I'm going to be this, that, and the fourth. And when it first happened to me as a therapist.
How was that?
Oh, man.
Did you feel bad?
It was shock.
Okay.
Because I did not know. I didn't go to my default settings of what they tell you to do in school. And that's why experience is such an important part, because
yes, it is.
I did not know the right thing, and you're trying to be,
What's the right way to show up?
What's the right way?
Yeah.
And I remembered when when it happened, the only thing I said to the client, which I knew was true, without trying to come across as a physician, was breathe right there.
If you don't know what else to say, that always works.
And
always.
Now, here's a part that's interesting, and I'm gonna tell me if this comes across for you.
Yeah.
When I ask a person, I invite them to breathe, they don't know what that is. And I watch it and try to navigate them through what an actual deep inhalation is. Because immediately it gets all up in the chest, and it's just, I said, don't hold your breath.
Right.
So is that something that you see?
100%.
Okay.
Because again, many people lack mindfulness. We don't think about how we walk, how we breathe, how we feel in any moment. We don't scan our body. So many people are disconnected that when you tell them, hey, and I'll stop in the middle of a session when I can tell you're going to, okay, let's take a minute to breathe. And you can tell it's like a, what?
A check-in that they weren't prepared for. Yeah.
Right. Where that should become very normal. We should be able to self-scan and go, okay, I feel like I'm going over the top. Let me get a box breath in real fast.
Where do you think that I don't want to say where it comes from, because we all have different ways of how we got to that point. Where do you feel like that disconnect with itself with people really is derived from?
Because we begin to look at ourselves as a commodity. Okay. Right? So when you're a product, no one cares how you feel. There is no feeling to a product. So you're looking at productivity, where I have to show up, the things I have to do, and how you feel is either on the back burner or it's non-existent. Because if I'm looking at who I am from an esteem level, I have to keep that up. So who cares about how I feel? That's how we get there. I didn't start discovering all of this stuff until I had a breakdown of my health and my mental health. Because I was just in
you were in
production
go mode constantly.
100%. Climbing the ladder, doing the things. Sometimes and you've said this to me, sometimes your body will make you pay attention to it.
Oh, that's a fact.
And it's never fun.
The term that we have on our walls, if you listen to your body when it whispers, you won't have to hear it scream.
This is real. This is real. So that disconnect oftentimes, and that's why for me, I try to pull in things like EFT and breath work into my sessions, because you think it's all happening here, but there's so much happening below the neck. Yeah. There's so much happening in your layered systems that you're unaware of. Healing is not a singular track.
Fortunately.
Right.
It's that place of discovery for me is I don't want to say heavy, but I'm more in tune. Mm-hmm. I'm more aware now because it's watching the way people are hurting. It just seems different now.
Oh, for sure.
You know, the space of the most expensive real estate in the world is the 6 inches between your ears.
Absolutely.
And so many people rent that out for free.
100%.
You know, I had I don't want to say a discovery call, but talking to a friend of mine who's in the middle of, I don't want to say dating, but inquiring.
I'm going to use that. I'm just inquiring to see. Okay.
Seeing what's on the menus in different restaurants.
Okay.
All right. Not engaging.
Okay.
So I want to be clear.
Just inquire.
He's just in an inquiry.
Okay.
In an inquiry. And I said, what's something that is giving you thought? And he goes, you know what is really messing with me? It's a girl I'm talking to, and we're both I said, you're living a life. Mm-hmm. He goes, yeah, but I realized that she told me something about myself that I wasn't prepared for, that I tried to make an adjustment for. I said, what was the change? He goes, I'm really isolated within the work that I do, so I'm not heavy on the phone unless I'm making a call. Mm-hmm. I said, you mean you're like me? Meaning that I don't have to get on the phone and talk to people all the time because I'm in constant state of movement.
Right.
So elongated conversations on the phone, it kind of has what's the point? What are we doing? Where are we going? Mm-hmm. And she said it kind of slowed me down when she let me know that she will talk on the phone. I said, did you put any effort into that? Mm-hmm. But did you let it sit with you for a second before you decided just to start making abrupt changes? He goes, that's kind of where I'm at. And then I got a week where I was just like, boom was happening and bam was happening and this, that, and the fourth. And I went back to my normal cadence and I did not say anything to her. I said, so I already knew what the possibility of the next statement was going to be, which was he hadn't heard from her. I said, okay. Do you think that you hadn't heard from her because maybe she had a life going on or that she was just waiting for you to re-engage? And he says, that was the part that was kind of putting me off. Mm-hmm. I said, why? He goes, I don't know if I want to find that out. If I'm not talking to you, I still would want someone to kind of tap me and be like,
hey,
what's up?
Yeah.
Haven't spoken to you in a couple of days.
Right.
Last time I spoke to you, yada, yada, yada. Just tap in. Mm-hmm. And I said, that's called mutual consideration.
Exactly.
And he goes, do you think I should tell her about that? And I said, well,
no, just observe and decide what you want to do.
You can see how you actually feel about it before making a move. You can say, I was wondering, have you thought about me lately? Because I hadn't heard from you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And he goes, I said, so let's not walk in with the perception that we understand what anybody else is doing.
Right. Let's not say she doesn't care. We don't know.
We have no idea.
Right.
And I said, but you are entitled. And I think that was the freedom that I kind of gave him that I'll throw back to you. Mm-hmm. I made sure that I gave him the permission to say that as a man, you are able, wanting and needing to feel nurtured and loved on and missed, but not in the same, oh, I've missed you, I've been thinking about you type of, validation look. Mm-hmm. Just more like, what's up?
Right. Because I think so much people look at it as currency and it's very tit for tat and give and take. And as a person that's been in a very long relationship that doesn't go anywhere very fast, it can't be you text me 2 times, so I'm only texting you 2 times. I didn't hear from you, so you didn't hear from me. That type of energy, because here's the thing, and I'm sure anybody that's been in a long relationship or married knows, you don't have the same percentage allotment all the time.
At all.
One day I'm going to have 80% energy and capacity, you'll have 100. One day you'll have 20 and I'll have 100. So if we went by that system of, well, you didn't, where are we going? Because
Nowhere.
maybe I didn't have it this week. Maybe I was in the slough of despond and depressed and you didn't even think of that for 4 days. You were too busy telling your homegirls that I don't care.
Or rehearsing the narrative that you've heard other places to put that cape on you, which actually doesn't fit.
Right.
And a lot of the things that seem to be reoccurring on this pod is mentorship. Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to have you here because you are that person for other people.
Thank you.
And you are that guide for other people. And there is a need for the Nikki in the world that is also coming from an educated perspective and not just an opinionated perspective because you're a good orator.
There's so many opinions on the internet.
It's amazing to watch how many people are masters at something.
Yes.
And I use this term a lot, but to see people who are masters at something with no gray hair, they kind of...
No, this is real.
I don't
this
mean to...
Real.
And this is not an age thing, because you can be wise and be young.
But experience.
It's a good teacher. It's
the teacher.
Yeah.
You know what? Listen, this is why Robert Greene wrote an amazing book called Mastery. No one wants to put in the 10,000 hours. People just now found me on TikTok a year ago. I've been coaching since 2017. I've been in session. You just saw me this year. You know what I mean?
You've been here for a minute.
But the only reason that the videos bang is because I've done it thousands of times.
So the reps are there.
You just understand what I'm saying? Exactly. This is the same thing when I see people pop out with a new body. I'm like, I can tell a gym body.
Yeah.
I know if the reps were there. I can see what you did or did not do. So I think right now everyone's in a microwave state of mind. I love people who get to a mastery state. I joke that it's kind of the reason I'm excited about turning 40 because this is now that era. We have experience. These grays have come with something. I'm now in consulting era. Let me let you know a few things. So I've been doing this for 20 years. These grays bang. I'm okay with it. That's why when people call me auntie, I don't get offended.
You can't.
Because what you're telling me is I have information, resources, knowledge.
Come on.
Guidance. How is that an insult?
Come on. Air on that.
Right.
Well, here's the part that's nice for a discovery perspective. I think that you touched on something else that makes me feel good. I'm completely understanding that I'm in my Professor Gray era.
Absolutely. But that's so dope.
I think that's what led to, because the pod that we did before was just completely audio.
Yes.
But now doing this in video, and then the team of people that have been coming around to help nurture me into understanding, it's been a beautiful journey of even hearing myself.
You don't know how much knowledge you have sometimes until you share it. You know why I know that? When you say something that feels...
Oh, no. To my producer, Zay, I got a better chime.
Ooh.
Very nice.
I like that. That feels like me. Yeah. Because here's the thing. There are so many times that I say things that feel regular to me and someone goes, whoa, what? And I'm like, what? That was a gem. I'm like, was it? I don't realize that because it came from years of experience, failures, mess ups, mistakes, whatever.
Yeah, but it's already fit. It's tailored to you now, so you don't even recognize it.
Right?
Yeah.
Same with you, though.
Yeah, I mean, and it's
stay
okay.
On the mic.
Like I'm getting ready to go into a new century, and
you didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
You said a new century. Yeah. Somebody told me I was born in the 1800s, and the late 1900s, and I thought about it for a second. I got offended, and then I was like, "Damn, that's true," and I don't like that. Get away. The late 1900s is so rude. That sounds like a horse and carriage.
Stop! The visual. Oh my Lord! Wait a second.
It is.
They said the late 19. Oh
Isn't
my
that deep?
God! Wait.
I want to fight too.
Low-key. I was really ready to fight. I was like, okay. I said, okay.
Okay.
Tried me, but okay.
All right, guys. I do want to say this real quick. What she said didn't dawn on me initially because I'm just thinking about young people,
like,
just saying young people, and then I realized
the
late 1900s are the 90s.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Gotta hit this one.
Have to.
Yeah.
Literally that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Okay. And with that being said,
Yes.
in that dawning moment. I'm sorry, I was still processing that. I like that I've seen what I saw. Like, I don't have a problem being an older man. Because now I'm in my gentleman stage.
Yes. And I always say we lived through the best era that had no proof.
The guest that we had earlier today,
Zero
Cynthia
proof.
and I, we were talking about, because we've known each other for 20 years. And we were talking about like when we hung out in the 2000s, right? In the early 20s.
In the streets.
And I was like, yo, we would party all night.
Yep.
Go to breakfast. And then go to our prospective offices like we were upstanding society members.
Absolutely.
And
still drunk.
Out.
Still.
They were. I promise you,
Sure.
I was not drunk. I have no idea what being drunk is like. I really don't.
Never heard of it.
I've never been drunk in my life. But I've definitely sweat through mountains of clothing.
Of course.
'Cause
Because
I
we
was-
used to actually dance. That's the difference.
It was so much fun.
Sweating the walls out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You ever been to a party when you actually look at the glass and the glass is foggy?
Oh, man. That's the best type of party. It just feels thick in the air. 100%.
Straight cut it with a knife.
100%.
But now at this point, when I talk to my son, he's like, "Yo, what was like some of the best fun?" I was like, "Yo, I don't even remember, but I was there."
It went down.
And he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yo, you were so immersed
Exactly.
in it.
You were
that
immersed in an experience.
It was such. You didn't care that you couldn't wait to do it again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because you know what it is that you're describing?
Tell
People
me.
nowadays are observing their experience while they're having it.
yeah,
You were having it.
What is a term? Because I've heard this before that more people will experience concerts through their phones.
Yes.
But they'll never remember the concert.
No. Because you didn't actually watch it.
Yeah, because you were trying to hold on to the
Correct.
memory to show somebody that you did it.
Yeah.
Rather than be completely in the moment. And I did that at the, what was the last concert I went to? No, that's before that one. All right. The concert that this became important for me, I was a child. Okay, in the crowd. I was a complete child. And this is when New Edition came to Madison Square Garden.
Oh, my God.
But
That's
let me
a
tell you who was on the lineup, and I'll be brief and to the point. So, the reason why I sing is because of New Edition. Because when I was a kid, Candy Girl came out, and I was just, that was our version of Jackson 5, right? But it was New Edition, Charlie Wilson,
Oh, no.
who destroyed.
That would have had me
All right.
screaming. Yeah.
Charlie Wilson, Jodeci.
No. Enough said. Enough
I
said.
was hoarse by the third song.
I'm sure.
But I didn't tape anything except for the intro and the opening and
experience.
just left the rest.
Yes.
And I still vividly see it. Oh, the other concert that I went to that I was completely immersed because it was just too good. I went to Vegas to see Usher.
Oh, that sounds like it was a good time.
Man, it was it
Yeah.
was such a good time that I had a VIP package, did not know I had it. Kid you not, had no idea. I was gifted the tickets.
Okay.
So I had the whole backstage thing, and actually I'm in the club Usher. This is all before the show starts. All right. And he had a whole run of show of black music from the 1920s to now.
Oh, how cool.
And this is all pre-show.
Okay.
And then I'm into the party that they threw before it transitioned, and I'm standing right next to him.
No way.
And because we were all in the groove, the New Yorker in me would not let him know that I was fanning out.
That's such another thing.
I was just like, yo, what's
It
up?
really is.
You know, what's
It
up, my
really
man?
is
What's good?
such-
What's
yeah,
good, baby?
it
All right,
is.
we good, we good. The whole time I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to get this picture to show people over here.
Why
But
are we this way?
listen, I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
Yeah.
All right. So being older is fine. And I'll close my point with this. Ronnie Isley had probably the best quote I've ever heard about somebody getting older. And I'll look directly into the camera and I'll say this. He says, old is the goal.
Right.
He goes, what is the purpose of just doing all that and dying young?
Literally. That's why I always joke, you can't insult me about my age. If you're lucky, you'll be here one day.
Come on.
So right? You can't really. That's
It's
crazy.
whatever. And there's a perspective that we have that you don't enjoy. And so for those who are getting older, prospectively, and not liking it, I'm going to give you the Prince rule.
What's that?
Someone asked Prince one time how if he could guess the guy's age. And Prince says, I don't know, but I know you were only born once.
Deep. That's why I like Prince. Just say nonsensical things and just walk off. I
Oh,
like
that
that.
wasn't it.
That's a vibe, right? Just,
He-
just do that.
He was the last
At
thing
the
that
end
he
of the
said.
day, the day has to end and just
Yes,
leave.
and just walk out. And he'll disappear. You know what I mean? And he said this one thing. He goes, the only reason, he said, if you look at everybody else who came out when I came out, they all look old. I don't. He goes, because they kept counting.
I like that. I like that.
Prince
Stop
Rogers
counting.
Nelson.
Okay.
So use that as a reference. Now, a nice little thing I like to do at the end of the show is tell young Nikki something that's going to help her get to the current Nikki.
I love that question. If you feel like you're being mean, you're not. Don't ever let anyone punish you for being strong, but learn to balance it. Learn to balance it. You get more with sugar than vinegar.
I kid you
It will
not.
speed things up for you in life, but you're going to get there anyway, is what I would tell her.
That last part, you're definitely
Yes.
going to get there anyway.
Yes.
I love it. Miss Nikki, please tell the people where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can find me at www.nikki-valentine.com. I am at iNikkiValentine on all socials. I would love to see y'all there.
Thank you very much for being the guest that I have been waiting for. Thank you for
Thanks for
trudging through
having
this
me.
weather to get here
Of course.
and being patient with this process because we're still discovering what we have, but we know we got something good.
You do. I got you.
All right. Peace to the kings and queens. Once again, thank you for having another sit down with us in Melanated Medicine Podcast. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment and give us some love of who else you would like to see or a particular profession that you would like to see on this podcast. All right. Peace, y'all.